This is a recruitment podcast Christmas special. My name's Hisham Azuz. Sat with me is Dualta, so thank you so much for coming up to the studio. But this is a bit of a special one, as obviously I host the Recruitment roller coaster. Dualta hosts the Recruiter startup podcast.
Recruiter startup
podcast, and I think what started this was someone put a post out there, didn't they? And then I got straight. Obviously, we've connected, and you was on my podcast ages ago.
Yeah.
And someone put a post out there. What recruitment podcast you listen to? And I think it's safe to say that Dualta and Hisham Azuz landed in those comment section.
There's a few has-beens in there as well.
Yeah. So
shout out to all the has-been podcasters.
So I think I thought, why would we not join forces and have a bit of fun? And it ended up being around Christmas, and that's why I've got reindeers. Obviously, if you're not watching, then if you're listening, I've got reindeer antlers. Well, they're not antlers, are they? They're just reindeers on my head.
They're lovely. Got a lovely Christmas jumper.
Yeah, I've got a great Christmas jumper. Can I keep this?
Of course you can. It's for you.
Amazing.
It's a present.
Amazing. Obviously, Daughter's got a nice Santa hat in front of me. He's looking the part, and we thought we'd jump on, have a real good chat around what we've learned this year, because we both started a podcast this year, and just go from there really. So I guess, why don't we just frame it up a bit? So when I worked in recruitment, we got in touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had this idea of starting this podcast called the Recruitment roller coaster, just because I had a blog at that point, which you wrote on, actually, if you remember.
Yeah.
The simple idea I had was, did you listen to podcasts before you started one?
I'm obsessed. So I listen
really?
all day long.
Yeah. What's your go-to then? What ones do you always tend to gravitate towards?
Well, I have my list here. let me just jump it up. Like, I'd say, first off, I'm obsessed with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I am.
How he lives his life.
Oh, it's class, isn't it?
Like, things that he's into, how he gets obsessed with things.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Joe Rogan's my go-to.
Then I'm into, like...
So obviously you got Gary Vee on there.
I got Gary Vee in there. I find Gary Vee very good, but he's a bit samey. Like, his messages can be...
Yeah, it is. He's banging the same drum.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, Gary, I get it. Great.
Yeah.
So I probably don't...
So you got some football ones on there?
I'm obsessed with football too, yeah. So I do a bit of that. Man United, which is tough times.
So I used to support United. The reason why I say I used to, so my mum's from Oldham. Yeah. My mum's from Manchester.
Are you a Manchester City fan?
No. It's really weird, because like I played football all the way. I mean, I was playing football like 2 years ago. I played football all my life. And basically, I was watching United probably 2-3 times a season, like going up to the games. I'm from near Brighton, so it was a long way. But it was getting to that point where, like, if United lost, like, it actually had the potential of ruining my weekend.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, I can't. No, I'm done. I can't get to that point. I don't want that to happen.
You were living and breathing it.
Yeah, I was living and breathing it, even though I was a southerner. And I don't know if do you watch Netflix, right? You have Netflix, yeah? Stupid question, probably, yeah.
I'm married with kids, not like I get
but there's a documentary they released recently about Sunderland.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No.
I've just finished watching it. Have you seen the All for Nothing one?
I saw a bit of it, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just when have you been able to go behind the scenes of a football club like that? So I find that fascinating, and I watched the Sunderland one recently, which is the complete polar opposite of the City one, because they get relegated twice back to back, and I mean, obviously there's so much in there about the fans, like these people in Sunderland who care about their team so much and are crying, and it literally is their weekend, and I just couldn't get to that point.
So that's that.
I'm so at the football game right now, and it's the first time, if I'm honest.
So I listened to a few business podcasts. Listen to This Week in Startups by Jason Calacanis.
Nice.
And in it, you kind of get an idea of what's happening in the States. And
that's cool.
As you know, living in the south of England, in a quaint village, you kind of need to get something from the outside world.
Yeah, definitely. So, so Daughter, you was on my podcast in the early days. That's when we first really connected, wasn't it? And then I guess, is it fair to say that, I helped you sort of say that this is how you can start it, why not start one, right?
Yeah, well, look, I was doing research in it.
Yeah.
One of the podcasts...
Oh yeah, because you listened to them,
Yeah, one of the podcasts I listened to is the Tropical MBA.
Okay.
And I was part of their business forum, and they're always on about how to, like, you should start your own podcast, etc., etc. And I was doing a lot of research, and I came across that you had started yours, and I thought, if that little shit has been able to start one, only been in recruitment for a year, wow. And then I listened to your format and I thought, that's quite a good format.
No brainer, right?
Intro.
Yeah.
Main piece. I don't know if you do outros, but I do outros.
Yeah.
So, and then whenever we spoke, you said,
Anchor.
Try Anchor.
Yeah.
And all the rest. And you've a nice wee way of tying it into your blog.
Yeah.
Probably should have done that, but.
Well, the blog's dead now. I haven't done it.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I made the right call.
No, at the start, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, okay, cool. So before we talk about our experience of starting one, and I think in 2019 there will be a lot more people like us who are thinking, well, why should I not be? What I should start one, right? So
shout out to Dave Hume.
Shout out, yeah. Again, he was someone that I had on ages ago as well. What has the podcast done for you as a recruiter, recruitment business owner this year? In a nutshell.
Yeah, I suppose the first bit was my job was getting a bit samey.
Okay.
So like we'd have a conversation with a client, they tell us the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And then we're talking to a recruiter and we're trying to tell them about the point of difference of the business.
Yeah.
And I just, as you know, you must have been approached by lots of
Yeah.
Were they ever able to tell you? Well, obviously they weren't able to tell you anything different because you joined this job and
it's the same spiel. More commission, good forward-thinking business, all the normal stuff.
So my kind of aims were twofold. One, I wanted to get under the hood.
Yes.
Of how the best businesses work.
Yes.
But also I wanted to figure out how the best solo operators work as well. And that's what I've kind of done. I've done a mixture of figuring out what the solo operators do and then getting under the hood of what the big businesses do, and ideally if it's one of the owners, because they're more comfortable to take you on a journey of the highs, the lows. Like, I've had people on who've had $10 million search firms, $25 million search firms, probably even larger than that in Asia, and they're just like me and you.
Yeah, exactly.
And they made a series of good decisions at the right time in the right place.
Yeah.
And they had hard times and they had good times. And I was just amazed that all of a sudden I went from kind of being this person who sends them candidates every now and then to really understanding them and feeling like that I could call them up and like relate to them on a much better level from doing it.
No, I love that. 100%. And then how has that affected, like, let's talk, obviously recruit, okay, well, what is it worth your time or whatever, right? So how has it affected your business? Like, has it had any ROI? Yeah,
so it definitely has had an ROI because I implemented it as part of our system.
Cool. Part of your process?
Part of my process.
Okay.
So I suppose like I get recruitment leaders and I get the independent leaders, and then I have a few thought leaders as well.
Yeah.
Now, there's no ROI on the thought leaders.
Yeah.
There's no ROI on the independents right now. Maybe there will be in the future.
Yeah.
But that middle section of describing what it's like to be a recruiter abroad, to live in Sydney and speaking to the owner or the person who's over there in that, and tapping into all my old connections from working in Australia and working in North America and that, I'm able to document that and then share that with somebody who's potentially looking. So if they'll always have like 5 or 6 questions like, how much can I make?
Yeah.
What's the tax there?
Yeah.
What's the visa?
Yeah.
Who are your clients? I'm like, I can give you all these answers, but unless you connect with whoever the owner is, 100%. You're not going to want to.
So okay, cool. So let me share my perspective of that then. Same sort of thing. So for me, I think that's the biggest thing that I've recognised. What you just explained there is that obviously, I mean, for me, coming here, before I used to do it from the same Anchor app, so I used to do it in my bedroom. So obviously, when you're asking questions for another person, the types of questions you're asking about their hard times, the good times, obviously you're having a real human to human like conversation, right?
Yeah.
So it's like rapport. Obviously, gets used a lot, but that's building serious rapport, right? And 100%, I felt that. Look, every single person I've had on the show, I'm not going to say I think they're my friend, but I feel like I could pick up the phone to them if I needed something.
Yeah, I mean, I came in here today. I don't go anywhere.
Yeah. So exactly. So I think that's been a huge thing, right? So actually, genuinely building relationships.
Yeah.
You've experienced that too, and then I mean, my intention was I was a recruiter and I was one of that 1% that wanted to get into the industry because my friend went into it from the same background as I was an insurance broker, and I love the sound of it, and I just wanted to be a better salesperson. That was my only motivation. And when I looked online for what would being a recruiter entail, it was face to face, it was networking, it was earning more money, it was consultative. That's what I found out, and that I wanted to get those skills. So obviously in those 12 months they were difficult, didn't build a whole lot, and it was fucking hard. So in that time I saw tons of CVs that had recruiter on for less than 3 months, and I was left genuinely really curious about that. And me and my colleague came up with a phrase because like we'd have really good days, and then the next day it'd be fucking terrible, and be like, this is a fucking roller coaster. The recruitment roller coaster this is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then that it snowballed from there. There's a blog, and then there's a podcast. So that was my only intention. And obviously then, I guess...
When did you start getting passionate about marketing?
Yeah, so I was thinking about that, and I created my first video November 2017.
Yeah.
So probably for the last 3 years I've been listening to podcasts, so quite a while, right? And probably as I got into recruitment, and I'm all about self-development, I'm all about investing in myself, all that. That's my mindset. So I'll be honest, I started consuming a lot of Gary Vee's content.
Yeah.
Like, I know everyone just goes there, but he fucking impacts people. And I started listening to his content, and then I was just like, what else can I do to get hold of more people that I can help as a recruiter?
Yeah.
Because the problem I had was getting hold of people. It wasn't when I got hold of people. Like, I was good at building credibility, and I was good at making the most out of that small opportunity you get as a recruiter in those first 5 minutes. I was like, what else can I do? So I was consuming Gary Vee's content, and he was just talking about content, social media, whatever, and I was like, what else can I be doing? Because I was just doing all the normal stuff. So just started doing the classic LinkedIn posts. Monday, if you hate Mondays, we should talk. The same post that everyone's doing right now. Don't move, don't wait till January to move now. Like, everyone's doing it. Like, I would be that person that would do that. Yeah. And then started getting a bit of traction on just a LinkedIn post, and then I thought, fuck it, why don't we do a video? Like, that could reach more people, or like I could get me across more. Yeah. Because I'm not a writer. Like, I could write, but I'd say, for me, I'd rather be in front of a camera because I can get myself across. Sure. Yeah. So I did a video in November 2017. At that point, you couldn't even upload it natively. It's
really?
Just YouTube. Honestly.
Yeah, I suppose, because Facebook changed the algorithms, and then LinkedIn kind of jumped on it.
Yeah, so...
And then everybody started posting these videos where they look at it and they go...
Literally.
And then the next stage is they get a sign and stuff.
So literally, posted... Yeah, so I remember as well, so you had to post for YouTube, and I'll be honest, I remember posting my first video and it didn't get much traction. I was really disappointed. Really disappointed. Yeah. But some of my colleagues, I'm sure you've had this, where basically some of my colleagues had the possibility of uploading it natively, but I didn't. So LinkedIn did that thing where like they'd roll it out to X amount of members, but not everyone would have it.
Didn't have a clue.
Yeah, well, basically, so my director, who's been in recruitment for ages, he had the capability of uploading it natively, and I didn't. So it didn't roll out instantly across LinkedIn.
Was he using your podcast to attract staff to his company?
No, I completely started off my own back.
No, but did he not like see that and go, or was he more of a boutique?
No, it was a boutique, and I'll be honest, it was a bit of a weird dynamic because I was in the business of 8 people when I got there. Yeah. It grew to 10 when we grew a bit, but everyone in the office was a bit like, what is he doing? I
would be too, though. Yeah. Because if I was him, I'd be like, knock this in the head. Knock this in the head. Get out there and do this podcast with people in the insurance industry and really buy into what you're doing. Yeah,
no, you're right. He
must have known that you were going to...
when I handed in my notice, it was a complete surprise because I had a really good year. He thought I was going to set up a rec-to-rec.
Yeah, so did I whenever you said to me.
Yeah. And... but basically, the whole marketing thing, so I created more videos, I started creating more content, and I started to see a clear ROI as a recruiter. It had a real impact on my desk. It had a real impact on my billings.
Really?
Genuinely.
Even though you weren't doing stuff within the...
Yeah, but the content I was doing on LinkedIn.
Oh right,
so that's what I mean. It was weird. Like it was weird. I don't know. It just snowballed. Like it just happened. Yeah. There was no plan behind it. I was just going with it. Like
Sean was whispering in your ear.
Well, I got in touch with Sean on the blog, so we built a relationship from there. And I tried to get Sean to work with my boss. I tried to get Sean to work with our business, but we declined. We had the genius idea of doing it ourselves. Didn't last very long.
No.
And so I was creating videos for LinkedIn, and they did really well. It was the most engaged pieces of content, or the content that got the most engagement I've ever done.
Wow. Okay.
And basically, I think a big moment for me was I was attending networking events, all insurance professionals, and I had people, not loads of people. I'm not going to overrate it.
Famous, were you?
No, I wasn't famous.
You LinkedIn famous?
You are, no, I'm not. Yeah, so I had insurance professionals coming up to me going, Hisham, I've seen your videos, like, I love it, I like it, whatever. Yeah. I was like, fucking hell, this works, this. So,
of course it works.
I think it was when I really saw the ROI and I saw that it was working and it had a real impact on my recruitment desk. And by this point, I had a relationship with Sean, and I was like, I don't see any of my competitors doing this, which is one of the main reasons I started. And I was like, look, there's something here, and I'll be honest with you, mate. I'll just went with my gut instinct. Like a lot of this is just my gut instinct.
If I was your age, and that opportunity came up, I would have jumped.
That's what I mean. And I think that look, I'm 25. Not that age matters, if I'm honest, but I mean,
you look even older with.
But I think look, the mindset was worst case scenario. If it goes tits up here at Hoxo, then I end up back at home with my parents, who I love dearly. So I was cool with that.
I've got a spare room for you, mate. We're
exactly. I was cool with that, and yeah, mate. So the podcast for me, bringing it back to business, it's definitely helped. And obviously now Hoxo Media, right? I do recruitment businesses, so it's definitely helped with that. It's definitely helped me get deals at Hoxo, definitely. So yeah, it's been a real win. I'm honest, and I'm excited for next year because there hasn't been a real plan behind it. If I'm honest, I've been rolling with it. I don't know if you felt like you've had a bit of a plan. And I think when we spoke, you said like next year, like you really want to maximise it, make the most out of it, right? Whereas it just started as a bit of a like, let's do it, and you just roll with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I always have a plan.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But I think I'm also a little bit lazy. So, like, I should do more editing. I should learn a bit more about all that type of stuff. But I generally just enjoy having a good chat about people's career and recruitment and all the other stuff. When I was coming up here today, I was thinking, wish these guys would like just edit my podcast and distribute it for me, and I could pay them. Wouldn't that be like how could we make
how
that?
How do you want to edit it? Like what do you want to change? A bit more professional, or
well,
a bit more slick?
You don't think it's professional?
No, I mean I think it's. I know what you mean.
No, well look, I mean, so you've got like we're on camera here.
Yeah.
You've got some good mics.
Yeah.
Like I in my office, I kind of have a setup where I could do this, so I probably should do that. And then with the issue with Anchor is, it's just audio. Yeah. And then sometimes it cuts out. And then I was on this guy's Steve Lowett's his show yesterday, and it's Recruiter Fuel. He's an American.
Yeah, so you tag him. Yeah.
So Steve used Zoom for that.
Yeah, Zoom's good. We use Zoom for video calls.
And I was like, I probably should be using all this video
on camera.
Stuff. Yeah. And
that's what I mean. I mean, for you, that would be the thing, right? Because like you can't have people come down to Arundel and sit down with you and meet your family and have a record.
We can do that. You're only up the road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what I mean. So for you, it's like
take them to the castle.
So yeah, obviously it's for you. It's having that capability. I mean, look, there's so much tech out there, and I did have a brief look, but. For me, obviously now I live in London. That's why I opted for Anchor, because I used to do it at home. Yeah. So so I guess. So what would your advice be to a recruiter who's thinking, I'd love to start a podcast? Like, what would your advice be to them? I'll give my advice, but what would yours be?
So I suppose you kind of have to do it within whatever discipline you're doing.
Sector, yeah. I think I agree.
So, but at the same stage, you don't want to make it just one big long advert.
Yeah.
I don't let anybody have the questions or anything before, because I don't have them. I just rock up and have a crack. And
I don't. So I gave you the first one, didn't I?
You kind of give me an idea of what was coming. But like, I completely just run it blank.
Yeah. Same.
And they always say, "Oh, can you send me questions?"
That's because I think people haven't done it before. That's why they want to prepare and stuff.
Yeah. But I think audio is a good place to start until you get good at it, because you're not worried about like what the camera's doing,
what people look like,
and the person in front of you isn't either.
Yeah.
So, and there's just something cozy about audio as well.
I agree. I think it's got to be in your sector. It can't be. You can't be doing a podcast with someone if you're a recruiter with a client who's hiring to talk about why you should join them. I think it's what we've both done really. It's about understanding their journey and understanding what the vision is, and look, at the end of the day, look, ask anyone, right? If you're in recruitment, you join a business because you connect with the people. You join a business because you connect to the.
I still remember Ryan Hathrow's socks when I came in, really? and the hot bird that came in and give me water and stuff.
Yeah.
When I was like, I was sitting there in the last £20 I spent in Bali on a tailor-made suit, trying to get a visa to stay in Australia.
Really?
But you know, those things stay, and he came in, he was the picture of success.
That's what I mean.
And I thought,
I'm up for that.
How hard could this be?
So that's what I mean. So like, I think, look, people, and look, if every recruiter out there will know that's why people take jobs, right? Obviously, look, everything else comes with it, higher salary, more holiday, whatever, but ultimately what it comes down to is if that person thinks it's going to help them go to where they want, or help them get to a better position, or connect with the person or whatever, right? So I think my advice would be, don't this isn't an audio job advert. This is
big time.
Yeah, this is creating valuable content.
Ask difficult questions as well.
Yeah.
You know, bring them into deep water.
Yeah, I like that. And I think it also ties in with, I know you said you don't, I mean for you it's not possible, but to like meet all your clients and all that, but a big selling point for recruiters is that they meet their clients, right, in their sectors. So I think all it is really, if I'm thinking about it now, is if I was to meet a client, if I met an insurance broker, I'd taken all the information around me, I'd ask the questions in that meeting that I'd probably ask on a podcast.
Yeah.
And then I'd then take that in, and then I'd pitch that and wrap it up in a thing.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So it's all it simply is turning a client meeting into a piece of content.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And talking about those things that you'd be talking about to a candidate.
Well, I mean, I had one of your clients, Toby Babb, on the podcast.
Yeah.
And he's smooth as anything,
class.
right? And he knows his stuff, and he's very credible.
Yeah.
And he takes you on a great journey of his story, and he gives points of difference of how they do business and stuff. And I was able to grab that, send it to somebody.
Yeah.
And now he's starting with them in New York.
That's class.
So there's like, for me, that was
exactly. So
and I'd never done business with him before. I'd never had a meeting with him. We'd never even had a conversation.
Boom. That's what I mean. That's it, guys. And I think that is possible for each and every person listening to this. That I mean, it's just a no-brainer, like in my mind. So I think how you can get started, my advice always is Anchor, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
I haven't had a recent refresh on what, I'm sure there is other things, but Anchor is a dedicated app to podcasting.
If it's too much work, people will just go, do you know,
exactly.
I won't do
That's why I think Anchor works.
Yeah.
I used to do it when I was in recruitment, so it's doable, it's achievable.
And as we said before, you could record it on something else if you want, and then upload it to Anchor, so then it gets out there.
But the great thing, and I used to do it outside of work, but that was because I wasn't doing it in my sector. However, if you're doing it in your sector, then you could probably do that during work, because
of course,
exactly. So the great thing about Anchor, is that you can do everything through the app. So basically, in a nutshell, I'll let everyone check it out, but basically you call people through the app, it gets recorded, it's high quality, and you can click a button and it gets on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere. And I think that would be my advice for people to start. Yeah,
and then you're down to selecting guests.
Yeah.
And his name escapes me right now, but the guy who runs Top Recruiter.
Oh, is it Gary? I don't know. I'm not sure. Top Recruiter,
the reality TV show.
Oh, Chris Lavoie.
So
he's a character, isn't he?
Chris is a rock star, right? So I've had a couple.
Have you had him on the podcast?
No, I'm going to,
I've had a video call with him about some stuff, but
yeah, I've had a couple of them.
He's an interesting guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's cool. But he said to me, "Man, you're in media now." And I was like, "Oh, right, grand job." And I said, "Oh, what does that mean?" He says, "Oh, you need to take care of everybody." And I'm like, "All right, okay." All right. But what he was trying to say is, don't just grab the biggest profiles out there. Get whoever could potentially have a good story.
Yeah.
And I have had a few big profiles on, and some of them have been all right.
Yeah.
But anybody who's on the software circuit or who's selling a certain thing hard, they have a bit of a rhythm to how they speak and how they go, and you find that it's very hard to get them to sound like they're telling a proper story. And that's so select. Like, it's fine to have some of them, but I think have people that haven't been on a podcast before, and then just have a great conversation with them.
No, I think my 2 pence on that would be definitely identify some people that you'd love to have a conversation with, and again,
I started off with a few mates.
Did you?
Yeah, it sounds terrible. Sounds terrible, but they're both charming guys, and I knew that they'd have a good story.
Exactly.
And stuff,
So and again, I think my advice would be that
charming some of the time.
My advice would be that before you start it, feel it out with some of your clients, right? So just speak to your clients who you'd have a relationship with and say, look, thinking about doing this podcast, how do you feel about getting involved, blah, blah, blah. And then I think to be a bit smart with it, a piece of content, I think it was Gary Vee again, I know I mentioned him too many times already. I know, sorry. But basically he called it the high school party move.
Right.
It really resonated with me. This is when I first started the podcast. I was like, fucking genius.
Okay.
So basically what the high school party move is if you think about when you're back at school and
1,000 years ago.
Yeah, and you had your prom, and normally there'd be someone who would host that prom after party of some sort. And basically what the high school party move is that person who may not be that popular, bit of a gimp, bit nerdy, but is throwing a prom after party. His parents are out and he's up for it, right? What does that do to that person? Completely elevates them to being popular. Everyone wants to speak to them, whatever, right? So the high school party move is basically getting people on the show or identifying people who can completely elevate your show straight away, right? Because you're going from, if you get people who've already got a brand or whatever, you're going to piggyback off that if you have them on your show. Do you get what I mean? So that I thought that was really smart, and then it makes sense. So I'd identify people who has a lot of attention, and if you manage to get them on your show, you know that's going to get a lot of attention, right?
I chose my first 15 off my LinkedIn newsfeed. Who was in there?
That's what I mean. But so you can be smart that way.
Because all my clients at that point went, podcast I'm not doing.
Really?
And now that I get 1,000 downloads a week, and it's quite specific to agency recruiters who want to set up their own. Well,
you built a platform now, so you can go, hang on, look, this is what's in it for you. That's what I always say.
Yeah, here, like, why wouldn't you? Why would you be paying me money instead of coming on and telling your story?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, and then that's a great thing for recruiters, when you build it and you get to that point, you can then target client. You can target people that you want to work with, right? You can say, instead of business development saying, hey, Mr. Client, have you got any jobs? It's, hey, Mr. Client, I want to stroke your ego and I want you to come on my podcast show. Why do I do that? Well, actually, let me tell you what's in it for you. Well, I get 500 downloads a month or 500 downloads a week, whatever it is, of SaaS salespeople. Oh, great, okay. Tell me more. Do you know what I mean? So
that's what we do now.
Yeah.
And then it's a different conversation.
So you use that as your business development now?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, in Rec Direct, there isn't really business development.
That's what I mean. There's no. If you have the person,
but there's kind of managing, telling people that you won't work their jobs. I'm happy to help people, get their story out there or whatever. But working jobs in Rec Direct is really hard unless they've a point of difference. And as you probably know from selling a service that gives people a point of difference, they don't get that.
No, they don't get that.
Because they only see themselves in the mirror and they're like, well, I'm awesome. Of course you'd want to work for me. And I started there, but they don't realise, or maybe they do, but there's 100 other people offering exactly the same thing.
There's just so many recruitment businesses out there now. It's fucking mental.
Yeah, we're at the top of the market though.
You are.
We are, as an industry, we're at the top of the market. Stock market is kind of petering a little bit, probably due for a correction. Everybody was able to set up in a hot market. And we'll see who can survive when we have a dip.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you guys will survive, because what'll happen is people will go, well, what are we doing? What can we do that'll make a difference? And you have positioned yourselves as the recruitment marketing people. I don't know anybody else who does what you do now. So...
What was that?
I don't know anybody else who's kind of put themselves out there as the recruitment agency, recruitment marketing people.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So I guess, how's 2018 been for you, mate? So I saw your emotional post recently.
Yeah,
I think you got to put yourself. I like things like that. If I'm honest, I'd like to think I'm quite a deep person, mate. I'm a deep spiritual person.
Yeah.
So I like seeing people put themselves out there and be vulnerable and be honest. So, did you think about quitting?
2 years ago, I did. Yeah.
You quit, or you thought?
No. Like, it's a hard one. Like, I was a pretty good IT recruiter, and I still fancy myself at that. Like,
really?
And.
So what? Because you know how much they can make.
Yeah. They make 3 times as much as me per placement in the States. Breaks my heart, that.
Really?
Yeah. Some of these people couldn't tie their own shoelace.
I'll be honest, mate. Like,
not my clients.
Love
you all.
I'll be honest. Now, like, I mean, I was in my own little bubble. I was in a place called Havers Heath, which is near Gatwick. It's pretty much farmland. Like, so it was our own little bubble. I was doing okay. I billed 6 figures in my second year. Like, nothing overly amazing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nothing overly amazing. But I mean, coming now, selling to recruitment businesses and being in the whole London recruitment bubble, I feel the same. I'm like, fucking hell, I could smash it as a recruiter. I just know I could, and I'll do it differently. I know I would, and I'll do very well. So I have those thoughts as well. So I can imagine you do as well when you're placing recruiters.
Yeah, but I don't know if I could smash it in an agency. I don't know if
Well, you'd have to do it on your own.
Oh yeah, of course. But when I was doing it, I needed it. I needed the visa in Australia, and I needed to get my career going.
Why did you need it?
Because I was 27.
I've just been fucking about.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that though.
No, I was in Brussels. I was running nightclubs.
Yeah.
Was having a good time.
Love that.
A bit too much of a good time. had to go to the other side of the world. and yeah. But I needed it, right? And when you're there, you don't have any money to come back to Europe. Like.
Yeah.
So, and everybody else is in the same boat, and you kind of feel that vibe. And all of a sudden, somebody's paying me 150 grand a year or whatever I was taking home, and I'm like, what?
Let's go.
What? Let's go! Like, I was handed a nice desk, had a soft landing, but I was so intense on making that work. I don't know if I'd have the same hunger right now.
Well, even though you got a young family, a lot of people say when they have that kid, it's like, I don't know, how many kids have you got?
25. No.
How many children?
With a trailer out the back.
How many children have you got?
We've had 2 in 2 years.
Really?
So
that's what I mean. That changes your life perspective, right?
It does, but so I make good money.
Yeah.
But I don't make great money.
Okay.
So I can live very comfortably in the south of England, and I have a great work-life balance, and I can help my wife with the kids all the time. And just do lots of that stuff. If I was to set up a proper IT recruitment agency, like that's 24/7. It's full on. I'd probably be in a centre. We'd be in an apartment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get to see them. I'm not sure. I think for me that ship has sailed. So the last couple of years it's kind of been coming to terms with my own ego on that. And the podcast has been really good because, I'm.
It lets you dip into that. And
and you're not really comparing yourself as much because I could be talking to somebody, as I mentioned, who's like running like the biggest firms in America and stuff, and you're like, you're just in a different stratosphere, and that's okay. So you kind of go, okay, well, you should just be happy with
100%.
What you have.
Yeah.
But to answer your question about having a kid, each time I had a kid, my earning went up.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking love that.
Yeah. About 30%.
Me. I love how you worked it out. That's fucking class.
But I didn't have. My wife did it. She does the book. So she's all like.
That is fucking class.
You're being less lazy. This is great.
I love that. it's really weird. So like, look, I have a really strong friendship circle, and there's about 5 of us. Well, look, it's important. It's important, mate.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, and they all have similar mindset, etc. Similar age.
Gary Vee fans.
Yeah, and look, so we were speaking about this recently when we was all together in Bali. Actually, we were speaking about it because I think we'd all come across some sort of content or listen to a podcast or whatever when there's that story of like, I had a child and like I was only working at 40%, or I was only.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure you've read or heard that loads of times. You've experienced it, right? So yeah, we was having those conversations like, look, I might have a kid.
Yeah.
Move to
Hayward's Heath.
But no, I'm always intrigued to ask that, and I think that's fascinating as well. So 2018 then overall,
fantastic. It was amazing.
Got you back in the game.
The podcast got me back in the game.
Love
because I wasn't just doing the same repetitive thing.
Yeah. Did I have a part to play in that?
What do you mean?
Did
you have a part to play in that?
In you starting the podcast?
Not starting it. No, you were part of my research.
Okay.
I told you, I always have a plan.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I kicked you up the arse, right?
You
give me credit, mate.
Yeah. You inspire me.
No, honestly, I'm really pleased with you, mate. Like, generally, looking from afar, I think you've done really well. Like, smashing me out the water if we're being competitive. Oh. I don't get 1,000 downloads a week.
No?
No.
I whore myself out a lot, though. Like, I'm on it a lot. And well, I'll take that.
Yeah. You're definitely beating me, mate. So guess what? Let me share my year very quickly with the.
I should have asked you about that.
That's cool.
Can we not just talk about me now?
Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, coming to Hoxo, been a great decision. Has been fucking hard. Like, perception is reality, right?
Yeah.
So we got to practice what we preach about content. It may look really nice and fun and shiny, but
yeah,
it's fucking intense.
Cool building.
Yeah, it's a cool building.
Not such a cool walk here from the train station.
East London. Like, for those that have been there, it's in the very, very East London.
Like, got chased by a dog halfway. Put my phone in my pocket.
We're not going to be here forever. Yeah, I think what I'm excited about is I'm excited about where the recruitment industry, like, what I do feel like things are changing, and I've only been in amongst it for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Obviously,
what's your biggest learnings?
My biggest learnings?
Yeah, like, because you're like, when I first spoke to you,
yeah,
you're obviously pretty green in recruitment, and you're kind of like, oh, I'm kind of doing a podcast from a bedroom, and but now you're speaking to agency owners all the time, and you're dealing with guys who've been in the industry for a long time, and like, they've knocked you into shape. So you know, what are the big things, like, that when you wake up, like, what do you know now that you didn't?
No, it's a good question. It's something I'm definitely gonna think about.
Nothing. You haven't learned anything.
No, I have. I have. So I think. I mean, I think the actual sales skills I had weren't as great as I thought they were, I'd say.
In what way?
I have to think about that, mate.
Was it the way you asked questions? Was it when you asked them?
Yeah, I think. I was a perm recruiter. My average fee was like 5-6k. So here, I'm talking to clients about spending 60 to 100 grand.
Yeah.
So like, that's been the biggest learning for me. Maybe it's not the sales skills, but it's like that whole sales process is completely new to me.
Yeah.
Like, I've never closed 60 to 100 grand deals.
You neither have I. Well, what part of that process is different? Is it just?
To be fair, I'd say it's just. I guess it's just how much money people are parting with. I mean, it's not as different to recruitment. Like, it's pretty much the same process, but it's talking about a lot bigger figures, and I haven't really done that before. That's been a learning. I think, again, I've learned a lot in terms of my personal brand. Like, that's been probably one of the biggest learnings, and how much that's helped me. And I wouldn't be here in terms of the opportunities I'll have. And
you're Mr. Personal Brand now, aren't you?
I just believe in it a lot.
Yeah.
Just because it's, and that's what I mean. It's not anything new though. It's just recruitment. In recruitment, it's quite new. Do you know what I mean? It's not. It's not new.
I think we were afraid in recruitment to stand out before.
Yeah.
You know, on social media and all of that, because you kind of wanted to, like, traditionally it was the Michael Page, Robert Walters, corporates, slickness, and here we are in our Christmas jumpers.
Yeah, so I think honestly, mate, I haven't gave that a lot of thought.
So sales skills, one.
Big sales deals, personal brand even more so, definitely, because I only touched on that in recruitment. Really learned a lot on this podcast. I'd say learned a lot from other people.
Could you kind of
elaborate on that?
Yeah, is there anybody that you've interviewed that you've kind of gone?
Learned a lot from. I learned a lot from. I've stayed in touch with him a lot, actually. Dan Alexander.
He's in the group that we're in.
Yeah, he's in the group. Yeah, that a big mindset piece on that, and I was sort of on that, but I learned a lot from him. And I think, if I'm honest, mate, I think one of the biggest things I've learned from sitting down with people in this room is that we're no different. Like I've had, like you said, right? People who've made a shitload of cash and built successful businesses. Like there's nothing between us.
They still fell into recruitment because they were wrong.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like that's something. And then I think, if I'm honest, a huge learning, actually thinking about it now, I'm on this thought process, is how big the opportunity is for people to work in recruitment. As in, like, I remember asking you a question. Like, do you think more people should get into recruitment? Like, no, fuck off. Now
because it's fucking hard.
Yeah, I know it's hard, but I think
but too many go in and fail.
Yeah, no, you're right. But but again, your podcast is doing it, and this is doing it. But if you actually know what the actual what's involved, then like it's a fucking great opportunity to like completely change your life. And I know that's a bit cheesy, but it's true. Like, recruitment has. You can look at me funny, I don't care, but recruitment has, and I feel a bit weird saying this because I left recruitment, but recruitment has a capability of.
I'm still 8 years later.
Recruitment has it has the capability of completely changing your life, right? Fact.
And it did change mine.
Yeah, it's changed mine.
Yeah.
Even though I'm out of it now. But I wouldn't be. It got me to where I am now. Do you know what I mean? So like, and
we don't need more people.
No. We need more people. We need more people to stay.
So there you go.
Yeah, we need more people to stay.
Yeah.
Okay. So so that's been a big. So like, we got loads of data recently that I'm shit at remembering numbers and that, but in London, so there's 30,000 recruitment agencies in the UK. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's fact. Like, I'm pretty sure that's right.
Okay.
29,000. I'm just going to say 30.
We'll roll with it.
I'm pretty sure that's accurate. And from this report we got recently, I'll show you after.
Yeah, no worries.
And 30. Okay, so fuck the number then. But 30. This is definitely right. 30% of the UK recruitment industry resides in London. 30%.
Yeah. I wonder what other percentage recruits from outside of London into London.
Ah, right, okay, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah.
I'd say it's probably 50. If you take it all
But so moving to London and being in this whole recruitment, like there's, and I'm pretty sure the number's like 8,000 to 9,000 recruitment agencies in London alone. It's fucking mental.
That is mental.
And I was so being in this whole bubble, I've learned like Jesus Christ, like there's some serious potential to like make an impact, earn money, make a difference, and all that.
So when you're dealing with these agencies, what's their biggest objection to?
Biggest objection?
Yeah.
ROI. Clear ROI.
And can we not show them that with data now? Like.
Yeah, with the right systems,
Yeah.
You can
but then that takes investment, right?
Yeah, it takes money up front to invest in the right tech and all that. Another thing is, I'll be honest, like some people just don't get it.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, I think that's a key thing. Yeah, I think
like it
I mean, yeah, it's. I mean,
like you were asking what's kind of next, and the next bit for me is to, get the podcast, chop it into highlights.
Yeah.
Maybe try and do the video piece. Yeah. Unless I look like a weirdo on this. And then get the distribution of it right.
Yeah.
Whether that's paid or organic.
Yeah.
And then put that up nakedly. Is nakedly the right word?
Natively.
Natively.
Yeah, nakedly.
No, nakedly. on the right channels and then retarget it.
Yeah.
And then from there, then you're able to kind of grab it.
Yeah, I think your big thing, mate, is that whole like client piece, the businesses you're working with and have vacancies with that have a relationship with you or whatever, like that. The content around that's really powerful, isn't it, for candidates? And I think that could get people.
Yeah, we might go into other avenues next year. My wife's coming back into the business, so
we'll get involved in recruiting.
Yeah, so she started it with me, but you know we've got an amazing virtual administration team. So we might develop that as a service if there's definitely a market for it. It's all I can ask for all day.
So yeah, I'd say clear ROI, just not having to spend X amount on it, that much on it before. Mindset, just the mindset of fuck that, I'll get 400 recruiters and they'll bill 100, 200k by 2-3 years. What else do I hear a lot of the time? I'd say they're the key ones, if I'm honest. But I think the exciting thing is that the people that we've ended up working with are people that see it as an opportunity, because it genuinely is, no bullshit, a window of opportunity, because we haven't even hit like the tip of the iceberg in terms of the amount of people that we work with. And the people that we're working with,
really.
That's what I mean, and the amount of people that we're working with compared to how many in the industry, and so the people that are bought into it are the people that see it as an opportunity and in terms of competitive advantage, and if they get it right now, they'll be well ahead of the game.
And you've seen what people did before, like you guys kind of get cool, and like the designs and stuff on their website, and have had a look, like it's all kind of slick and it looks good, and if you were a young recruiter and you were seeing it, you go, oh yeah, that's cool. The stuff that was done before by so-called thought leaders are people who are offering me marketing services. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's really bad.
Really bad.
Old cigar smoking geriatric.
And I think that's also an opportunity as well. I don't know if you've noticed that. Now you put yourself out there, but I just see the same characters at these, like. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like the same characters, like at the.
It's the same 50 lads.
Yeah.
Couple of women.
Yeah, a couple of women. Do you know what I mean? Like now I've put myself out there and I'm in this whole world. It's like the UK Recruiter event, same sort of people there. Like Recruitment Expo, I see the same people there because I wanted to put myself forward.
The circuit.
Yeah, like you just see the same faces, and there's and it comes.
They're not in it. None of them have recruited a role
for a while.
But
I think, coming back to your point, and I think that's why it's really cool, is that a lot of those people, they have great careers, and I'm sure they can help people. But I think that's the really exciting thing, because like people like yourself, me putting ourselves out there, and other people, I think that's really exciting. I think like young people.
Interesting you said that about the UK. I had the exact same vibe.
Yeah.
I was like, oh right, everybody's over 50.
Oh yeah, because you spoke there recently, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that's just what I feel about that, and look, it's great what those people achieved, but I think you just see the similar thing. So it'll be interesting how 2019 unravels, mate. But I guess before we wrap this up, mate, what's going on in 2019, and what are you excited about?
It's more of the same, you know. I'm not having any children this year. I'm not buying and renovating the house. Like we can just focus and kind of just enjoy life a little bit more. It's been an intense couple of years. 2 kids, 2 years. Like moved country, did all that.
Mental,
It's just been.
You got anyone excited that you want to big up on the podcast?
Anybody what?
Anyone that you've got lined up for the podcast that you want to big up?
Not really. No. I've got
a few lined up in Jan.
I've got about 50 lined up for next year already.
Really? 50?
Yeah, I've got the machine lab. I did 62 in a few months. Like,
so I mean, I've only done like 40 something.
Yeah.
So I'll do them in person though.
I know, and I'm obsessed. Like really? I'm an intense character.
How do you message people, ring them and say, do you want to be on my podcast? On LinkedIn?
Yeah, because between us all, we've 50,000, 60,000 connections on LinkedIn, so I'm able to kind of show, like, demonstrate the value of it now, and then it's just kind of finding that balance of getting leaders and then interesting people. Like, I've had a few Americans, and America's great for independent recruiters. Yeah. People are making like $500,000 sitting at home, or $1 million sitting at home. And some of them are amazing, some of them are okay, but they can all tell a story. And it always interests me because in the UK and in Ireland, we're obsessed with creating big corporate structures.
Really?
And in America, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like, oh, give me 5 minutes training, I'll set up my own business.
Sick. Well, look, I'm really excited for 2019. Excited to see where your podcast goes. Excited where this goes, and it's been a pleasure, mate. Thanks for coming up.
We're gonna have a beer or what?
Yeah, we'll grab a beer. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good man.